Aruba is the second country in the entire world after Ecuador to put forth the rights of nature within our Constitution. Make no mistake about it, this is a very big deal and a huge step forward towards Mother Nature. International delegates contributing to Aruba's Rights of Nature movement joined Minister Arens on a tour of the island to learn how we choose to protect the nature of Aruba. Island representatives, such as those from the Aruba National Park Foundation, also shared measures that are being taken in Aruba to continue on the right path with nature. Michelle Bender is the Ocean Campaigns Director at Earth Law Center based in the U.S. Her and her team's goal is to transform the human-nature relationship through development of alternative legal pathways. She says for Aruba to legally recognize that its nature has its own set of rights will inevitably change things, change in a good way.
Well, first off, I think it's a really positive step that an island nation is progressing and wanting to codify the rights of nature. As we know, they are on the front lines of the climate crisis. And climate change is really a systemic issue. And that's one thing I love about Rights of Nature is it's a systemic solution. So it really gets to the underlying values, the norms, the beliefs that create our legal system and therefore really determine how decisions are made.
Bottom line, this new way of honoring nature will force humankind to be less selfish and to think more carefully before given the legal right to act.
One thing that's really powerful about Rights of Nature is really causing us to take a step back and to realize that we are a part of a larger ecosystem and that our behavior, our activities, they have consequences. And so that we need to really take into account the entire ecosystem that we're affecting, not just, looking at the impacts or the benefits in the short term to human society and the economy.
Minister Ursula Arens says enacting the rights of nature within the law will become significantly impactful whenever a case is being deliberated upon where any aspect of nature comes into play.
By implementing the rights of nature in our Constitution, that will give nature the rights that is necessary, even by including this in Chapter 1 of our Constitution, also gives the judge an opportunity whenever there is a case and it has to do with nature, and if there is contradictory legislation to our Constitution, the judge will always side with the Constitution and Chapter 1. So nature is given the proper respect to the legislation through our Constitution, because our Constitution is also the highest level of legislation that we have in our country.
Agustin Grijalva was a constitutional judge in Ecuador. Ecuador's perspective is important to Aruba since they were the first in the world to initiate the rights of nature. The former judge says the rights of nature has helped rulings in cases, and it continues to lay the foundation for the legal framework concerning nature.
I think that is also shaping, to some extent, public policy, local rules, ordinances, in local governments. So hopefully that continues. During the last years, the rights of nature, the constitutional rights of nature have been much more helpful than in the past. So it's a process, but it's good to say that it's a positive process at this point.
Nature is beautiful. As humanity, we need it. Do some of us take it for granted? Perhaps. But with this rights of nature development, it will help steer us towards appreciating it a lot more. Good thing, because our future generations definitely needs us to protect it.
For decades, we have been exploiting nature on behalf of creating economical development for economic growth, and it is time for us to bring that balance between the human development and the economical growth with nature. And we believe by doing this, we will create the harmony that is necessary for the future generation to also continue to explore, to continue to benefit from what Aruba produces. So the nature of Aruba and the citizens of Aruba will be able to live in harmony while protecting nature and making sure that the future generation has an island, has a country that they can thrive off and also live from.